How's it going, folks? This is Wayne R, back with another technique lesson, and I recently did a Clawhammer style sort of technique guitar lesson based on basic sort of Clawhammer. I must point out, this isn't sort of the bona fide way that you play Clawhammer guitar. You sort of play a bass note and there's sort of different things going on with the fingers. You hear it a lot on banjo, but this is a basic way that you can get into Clawhammer, and the effect is, obviously you're hearing a bass note and you're sort of strumming chords at the same time. So it's very, very effective, and this is sort of a follow-up lesson to the one that I did before. Now, if this is your first lesson on this, I advise you to watch the other lesson first, just showing you the basics, because I'm not going to be as thorough with this lesson. This is just a continuation on from that lesson, but this one's a little bit harder. And it probably sounds familiar. I've sort of roughly based this on Hey There Delilah by the Plain White T's. A little bit different, but it's sort of very similar chord. Okay, so as I always say, thanks very much for your support. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed and continues to do so. Now, if you are subscribed and you haven't got round to it already, please set that little notification bell. You'll find that just underneath the video there. So if you click on that, you get notified every time I put a video out, so you can keep up to date with all the video. The Patreon page, I'll put a link to that in the comments, also a link in the description. And if you click on that link, it'll give you guys access to all the chords, lyrics and strumming patterns, to the usual stuff that I do. Some exclusive videos that aren't on YouTube, videos from the archive, stuff to coincide with some of the technique lessons. And all you have to do to get access to all that is, sign up for as little as a couple of quid a month, or however much you guys want to pledge. It's all very much appreciated, and I can promise you it all generally goes back into the lessons. If you don't want to do that and you'd like to show some appreciation in a different way, underneath the video somewhere there's a super thanks link. You can click on that and make a small donation. Again, massively appreciated. And if you want to, please go over and give me a like on social media. So I'm Wayne R Guitar on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now also TikTok, as I always say. I'm trying to get down with the kids. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so to do this exercise, I've got my guitar in standard tuning, but as you can see, to play this exercise, you're going to need your capo on the 2nd fret, okay? And Clawhammer guitar, obviously we're hitting the bass note, and we're doing a strum up, with fingers 1, 2 and 3. So we're getting like a bass note and then a strum. As I said, I'm not going to go too thorough in this lesson about the technique. I will obviously talk about what I'm doing, but a little bit more vague. It is a follow-on from the, the first lesson that I did recently. So go and check that one out first if you haven't seen it already. Okay, so if you look at the chords on this exercise first, we're going to use a C chord. Then we're going to go to a C/B, so if you've never seen that before, just on a regular C chord, we take the 3rd finger off, move the 2nd finger to the 2nd fret on the A string relative to the capo. Then we're going to do an A minor, then an A minor/G, so all we do on the A minor chord, just to add the bass note in, we're briefly going to add the little finger while keeping the A minor chord shape on the 3rd fret on the low E string relative to the capo, okay? And your next chord is going to be an F. Now, I do the barred F. If you are a beginner and you don't want to do the barred F, you could get away with doing the, the standard sort of F major 7, okay? But instead of playing the bass note on the E string, obviously we'd have to play the bass note with the thumb. That would be on the D string, okay? So, like I say, if you don't want to do the bar chord, you could do it that way. Okay, and then we go to an A minor, back to a G. And then it goes back to the C, C/B, A minor/G, and then the F, and then we go back to the G, okay? So the concept of it, I'll quickly talk about what I'm doing around the chord. So I'm playing the bass note on the C, the C/B, and the A minor. So my thumb is playing the bass note on the A string, and then I'm strumming up sort of as many strings as I can, mainly the top E, the B and the G string with fingers 1, 2 and 3. So we get this, that effect. And now that runs all the way through the exercise, okay? The only thing that changes is a bass note depending on which chord I'm playing, okay? So on the C chord, the C/B and the A minor, my bass note is on the A string. So my thumb is on the A string and I'm strumming up strings 1, 2 and 3, okay? So what we get is... Okay, now when we add that G bass note in, my thumb is now switching to the low E string. So we get... So it just does that once. And then we go to the F. So my thumb, if we're playing the bar, is still on the low E string. And then the A minor, thumb switching to the A string, and then the G back to the E string. So all of that first section. Okay, so the second time we go around, just a little bit different, but obviously the same things going on with the chords. We've got the C, C slash B, A minor slash G, F, and then we're going to go back to the G, and back to the C, and we'd finish, just by playing, a single sort of bass note that's on the A string, and that is pretty much all you're going to need. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that lesson again, and as I said, it's a continuation of the first lesson that I did, and I had some great comments from that Clawhammer lesson, that original one, so thanks very much for the comments. I have had a couple of people say that that's not the proper way that you play Clawhammer guitar, and I sort of agree. The proper way is a lot more intricate. It's the same sort of style, obviously playing a bass note, but you're playing obviously separate notes with fingers 1, 2 and 3, so you hear that technique a lot on banjo. But this is classed as Clawhammer. It is a basic way to get into it, and this exercise that we've done today is obviously roughly based on Plain White Tees and Hey There Delilah, so go and check that song out and you'll hear this technique going on. So hope you all enjoyed that, and I'm glad you enjoy these technique lessons. I like to show different things obviously than the song lessons. Obviously I love doing that more than anything, playing and singing songs, but it's great to get other styles and other techniques that you can use on a guitar. I think it makes you a better guitarist at the end of the day. So there we go. So thanks for all your positive feedback. The usual stuff, thanks everyone who's subscribed and continues to do so. Now if you are subscribed and you haven't got around to it, please hit that little notification bell. It's just underneath the video there, so you can keep up to date with all the videos. The Patreon page, if you want all the usual stuff, the chords, lyrics and strumming patterns, as well as exclusive videos and some stuff to coincide with some of the technique lessons. So there's a link to that in the comments, also a link in the description. So just click on that link. For as little as a couple of quid a month, you can sign up to all of that. If you don't want to do that, I've got the Super Thanks link. If you'd like to click on that and make a small donation, again, massively appreciated. So it's all ways that you can help this channel out. And another way you guys could help this channel out, this doesn't cost you a penny however, but it's very effective, and it's word of mouth. Word of mouth is a very powerful thing, so if you dig what I do, please like and share my lessons, tell your friends, tell your work colleagues, anyone plays guitar, please point them in my direction. I really appreciate that. So that just leaves me to say, whatever time of day it is you're watching, whether it be morning, day, night, thank you very much, and I'll catch you all for a lesson very soon. Take care.